Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive where we'll be looking at something pretty wild.
Yeah,
Reincarnation, but with a twist.
definitely a twist.
What if this life, right here, right now, is your first time on
Hmm.
planet Earth?
I mean, it really makes you think about life and death and, the soul and all that in a totally different way.
For sure. And to help us explore this idea, we have the work of Laercio Fonseca.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's a researcher who dives deep into spirituality and paranormal stuff.
Right. He's got this unique way of blending spiritual ideas with history and even throws in a bit of sci-fi too.
Right. It's really interesting. And one of the first things Fonseca does is hit us with this really thought-provoking question.
Okay.
He asks, what was your face before your first incarnation on Earth?
Wow, just think about that for a second.
All right. It really throws you for a loop.
It totally changes how we usually think about reincarnation.
Yeah.
You know, most of us, if we think about past lives at all,
Yeah.
we're usually trying to remember them.
But Fonseca flips the script and says, hey, what if this is your first time around? Where did your soul come from before Earth?
I love that because it makes you wonder what experiences or knowledge we might be bringing with us from somewhere else.
Exactly. And Fonseca really goes there. He talks about Earth being like a special school for souls.
So, like, we're all here to learn and grow in ways we couldn't anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, so Earth is like some kind of cosmic university, and we're the new students.
That's a great way to put it.
But here's where it gets even wilder. Fonseca uses historical population data to argue that there might be tons of first-timers here right now.
Oh, yeah. The population thing.
Right. It took something like, thousands of years for the world population to reach 1 billion people.
It's mind-blowing how long that took.
I know. And then boom.
Well,
In a relatively short amount of time, the population just explodes.
yeah. We went from 1 billion to 2 billion, then 4 billion. Now we're over 8.
So he's saying there's no way all those souls could have lived multiple lives on Earth.
Exactly. The math just doesn't add up. There wouldn't have been enough time.
So what's he proposing?
He calls it the Great Soul Influx, this wave of souls coming from other planets or maybe other dimensions to experience life here for the very first time.
Okay, now that's a pretty wild idea.
It is.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes you think maybe that's why there's so much diversity on Earth.
Yeah, different cultures, different ways of thinking, different ways of experiencing the world.
Exactly. It's like all these souls are arriving with their own unique perspectives and experiences.
Which could explain why some people just feel like they don't belong.
Oh, absolutely. Fonseca talks about that. He says first-timers might feel this deep longing for something they can't quite put their finger on.
Like they're searching for something more.
Right. Or maybe they have certain personality traits like a strong connection to nature or a fascination with space.
Like echoes of a past life, but not on Earth.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic homesickness.
Wow. So how do we tap into that? How do we explore those hidden memories or experiences?
Fonseca believes in the power of introspection and self-reflection. He says, look at your dreams. Pay attention to your intuition, those moments when you just know something.
Like those gut feelings.
Exactly. Those could be clues to your soul's journey.
So instead of looking outward for answers, we need to look inward and listen to our soul.
Exactly. He believes each of us holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of our soul's origin.
But it takes courage to delve deep within ourselves and face the unknown.
Absolutely.
I've definitely been feeling this pull to explore my inner world more deeply lately. And after hearing Fonseca's ideas, it makes me wonder if there's more to my story than I realized.
Maybe so. That's the beauty of his work. It opens up all these possibilities and encourages us to embark on a journey of self-discovery.
He's not giving us all the answers, but he's definitely sparking our curiosity.
For sure.
Okay, so maybe a silly question, but if these souls are coming from other planets, how are they getting here? Is Fonseca talking about spaceships and wormholes?
He actually doesn't get into the specifics of the travel. He focuses more on the spiritual side of things.
Okay.
He mentions this concept of a federation existing on a spiritual plane.
Like a higher consciousness that oversees the movement of souls between worlds.
Right. And he also talks about karma playing a big role in where a soul ends up.
So it's not just random. There's a purpose, a reason why souls are drawn to Earth at this particular time.
Exactly. Fonseca believes that Earth is a challenging environment, a place where souls can really face their limitations, learn valuable lessons, and grow spiritually.
Yeah, life on Earth can be pretty intense.
It can. But maybe those challenges are actually opportunities.
Like cosmic boot camp for the soul.
Exactly. He even uses the term expiation.
Which basically means suffering.
Yeah. He's not saying life is supposed to be easy.
but that the challenges we face help us work through our karma and evolve.
Right.
So the question is, what lessons are we here to learn? What karmic debts are we working through in this lifetime?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore further in just a bit.
As we're talking about this, I keep thinking about all those times I felt a little out of place,
Oh, yeah.
like I was meant for something different. Could that be a sign of being a first-time soul?
It's possible. Fonseca does say that feeling like you don't belong could be a clue. He talks about how first-timers might feel this deep yearning for something more.
Right.
Like they just don't fit in with the way things are.
It's like you're always searching, but you don't even know what you're searching for.
Yeah, like a cosmic homesickness.
Exactly. And it makes me think about all the research on near-death experiences.
Oh, right.
People who've had those experiences often talk about this incredible sense of peace and belonging in the spiritual realm. And then they come back to Earth and it's like being dropped into a foreign land.
That makes sense. It fits with Fonseca's idea that some of us might have come from realms that are totally different from Earth.
Okay, so let's say for the sake of argument that some of us listening right now are first-time souls. How would that change how we see life? Our choices? How we interact with the world?
Well, for one thing, it might make us approach life with more wonder and curiosity. If this is all new to us, suddenly everything becomes exciting.
It's like seeing the world through fresh eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of taking things for granted, we start to appreciate the beauty and the complexity of life.
And wouldn't that change how we live?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We might be more open to new experiences, different cultures stepping outside our comfort zone.
Yeah, because if this is your first time on Earth, why not make the most of it?
Right. You wouldn't waste time on things that don't really matter.
Exactly. You'd want to focus on things that align with your soul's purpose.
And that brings us back to Fonseca's idea of Earth being a school.
Right. He says we're here to learn and evolve, to become more conscious, more compassionate. So if Earth is a school, what kind of lessons are first-time souls here to learn?
Well, Fonseca doesn't give us a specific list, but he talks about the importance of empathy.
Putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Exactly. And compassion. Not just for other humans, but for all living things.
Which makes sense if we're coming from different worlds with different experiences.
Right. Learning to understand and connect with others would be crucial.
Especially since life on Earth can be so chaotic and challenging.
Absolutely. But maybe those challenges are actually opportunities.
To grow and evolve.
Exactly. And Fonseca also highlights the importance of forgiveness. He says holding on to anger and resentment creates negative karma.
Which can hold us back spiritually.
Exactly. So forgiveness becomes not just a moral thing, but a practical one.
And it makes me think about another part of Fonseca's theory, this idea of a karmic balance sheet.
Oh, yeah. He says our actions have consequences not just in this life, but across multiple lifetimes.
So this life isn't just a vacation.
Not exactly. There's work to be done.
Spiritual homework.
Right. And the more we learn and grow in this lifetime, the smoother our journey will be in future lives.
Whether those lives are here on Earth or somewhere else.
Exactly.
So every choice we make, every action we take, it's all adding up.
It's like building our cosmic resume.
I like that. It really highlights the importance of making conscious choices.
Of living in alignment with our values and trying to make a positive impact.
It's a lot to think about. This whole idea of being a first-time soul on Earth, it really changes everything.
It does. It makes you question everything you thought you knew.
Okay, so we've talked about souls coming to Earth.
Right.
But what about going back? What happens after we die?
That's the big question, isn't it? And Fonseca does have some thoughts on it.
Okay.
He talks about the possibility of returning to our soul's home.
Whether that's another planet, a different dimension, or some realm of pure consciousness.
Exactly. It's like Earth is just one stop on a much larger journey.
And when we die, it's not the end, it's just a transition.
To a new state of being.
So does that mean we graduate? Do we get our cosmic diploma?
Fonseca doesn't really get into specifics. He focuses more on the importance of living this life to the fullest.
Embracing the lessons and the challenges.
Right. And striving to evolve spiritually.
So the better we do here, the better prepared we'll be for whatever comes next.
Exactly. Whether it's another life on Earth or a journey to another realm.
It's like we're packing our bags for the next adventure.
I like that. It's about making the most of this opportunity, this gift of life.
And that's a beautiful way to look at it. Instead of fearing death, we can embrace it as part of the journey.
It's a perspective that can bring a lot of peace.
It really can.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, if we knew for certain that this was our first life on Earth, would we live any differently? Would we appreciate things more? Would we make different choices?
It's an interesting question.
It is. And maybe by exploring that question, we can understand our own soul's purpose a little better.
Maybe so,
I-
regardless of how many times we've been here.
I like that. So to our listeners, as you go about your day, think about this.
Okay.
What if this is your first time experiencing this amazing planet? What would you do differently? What would you cherish? What kind of mark would you want to leave on the world? It's something to think about for sure.
It is. We'll be back in a bit to wrap up this deep dive and share some final thoughts on this mind-blowing topic. Okay, we're back, and wow, I'm still processing everything we talked about.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
This whole idea of being a first-time soul on Earth, it really shifts your perspective.
It makes you question everything,
It
doesn't it?
really does.
Mm.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways you'd like our listeners to ponder?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is to approach life with a sense of wonder. You know, like if we really consider that we might be first-timers here,
Yeah.
it encourages us to see everything with fresh eyes.
To appreciate all the little things.
Exactly. Things we might have taken for granted before.
Like when you revisit a place you haven't been to in a while and you see it in a whole new way.
Right. Exactly like that. And that new perspective can also change how we interact with people. If we remember that everyone's on their own unique journey, you know, maybe we can be more empathetic and understanding.
Because, let's be real, life on Earth can be tough. There's a lot of conflict, a lot of things that just don't make sense.
It's true.
Yeah.
But if we look at those challenges through Fonseca's lens as opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
it can help us get through them with a little more grace.
And that brings us to another key point. Fonseca makes the importance of conscious living.
Right.
If we're here to learn and grow, then every choice we make matters.
Every action has an impact.
It's about being intentional with our lives, aligning our actions with our values.
And trying to leave the world a little better than we found it.
I love that. It really highlights the responsibility we have, regardless of whether this is our first life or one of many.
It's about making the most of this experience, this gift of being alive.
It's funny, we keep coming back to this idea of Earth as a school.
Yeah, it's a powerful analogy.
But if that's true, what happens when we graduate? What comes next?
That's a great question. And Fonseca doesn't really give us a definite answer.
Mhm.
But he does say that our actions in this life have consequences that reach beyond our physical existence.
Right, like the ripples of a stone thrown into water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he talks about karma, the idea that our choices create these ripples that affect not just us, but others too.
Both here and in other realms.
So even if we don't know exactly what happens after we die, we can trust that the energy we put out into the world will continue on.
The kindness, the love, it all makes a difference.
And that's a really comforting thought.
It is. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a sense of possibility.
Mm.
What if this is your first time experiencing the beauty of this planet? What if every sunrise, every interaction, every challenge is a brand new adventure?
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
It is embrace the mystery, explore your inner world, never stop seeking the truth.
And who knows, maybe you'll discover that you're not just a visitor here, but a vital part of something much bigger.
A part of the evolution of life itself.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.